Now, why are most people afraid, period? This is it. People care more about how they look than possibly making a difference. Fact. And we're so afraid of looking stupid. We're so afraid of looking like a salesperson or something like that. And so long as you are more afraid of how you look to others, you will not reach your potential. I'm just letting you know, you will not reach your potential. And so you have to be willing to look stupid. You have to be willing to go live way before you're ready. And I remember, when I was first learning internet marketing, I had a buddy that I had helped in real estate. I'd helped him find a home, sell a home, I forget. But he came to me and he didn't know that I was like losing it all. He didn't know that I was going broke. And he's like, hey man, I found a way to make money online. Would you be interested in learning? You helped me in real estate. Would you be interested in learning? And I'm like, yeah. And he showed me some stuff and I'm like, okay. And so I remember I did my first video. Now I thought that you had to be impressive, and which is funny because it definitely was not impressive. So I got all dressed up. I'm in a suit, I'm in a red tie, and I didn't want to screw it up, of course. So I wrote this script out and I taped it to the back of my laptop, right? And so imagine that the camera is, pointing straight and my eyes are looking about 1 foot above it, right? So it looks just nailed it, right? And so I do this video. Hey, do you struggle with leads online? Hi, I'm Ray Higdon and I'm blah, blah, blah. And so I record it and I'm like, oh man, I nailed it. I read the script and it's good. I look good. And so I sent it to my buddy and I'm like, hey man, did my first video. What do you think? And his response, I wish I would have saved it. Maybe I can find it. I don't know. But his response, it said, LOL, comma, you should totally post that. I'm like, what? LOL? And he was saying I looked like an idiot. And so I was willing to look like an idiot. Many of you are so concerned on how you look, but you got to understand two things. One, you can't get to the thinkers without going through the haters. And number two, everyone's worried about how they look. People don't have time to constantly be worrying about how you look. They're worried about how they look. And so stop being so focused on your self-image above probability, right? And so this is where, people join my business, they don't do anything. Well, hey, a lot of people won't. It doesn't matter who you are. And so there's a way of handling culture that is accepting and allowing of people. And I had people in my organization that if you judge them by their first 2 years, you would have said, oh, they're not doing anything, and blah, blah, blah. But then they ended up becoming successful. And that's because we created a culture that was accepting and allowing of people, regardless of their level of desire or level of result or how hard they wanted to work or anything like that. Most leaders, if they haven't been through our programs and haven't, worked with us, they're like, how do I get my people doing more? And my question is, how do I get you not requiring them to do more? Because as long as you have that expectation of pressure on them, then they don't want to show up for you. It's like if I start, pushing my boys, hey, when are you going to be a lawyer? How does that make them feel? It makes them feel like they're not enough. It makes them feel like, I have expectations that has nothing to do with what they want. And so you got to look at not probability, you got to look at possibility. Is it possible for someone, whether you're successful or not, to come into your business and actually create success? Well, has anyone in your entire company created success or gotten a result from the product or the service without your exact mentorship? And if it's happened ever, it can happen again. You got to look at possibility, not probability. Now, this is a big one. If you ever want to be awkward and you ever want to be just put too much pressure on yourself, like maybe you're too, free and footloose and fancy free. And if you ever want to put a lot of pressure on yourself and increase your stress level, just try to close everyone. See, I don't try to close everyone. I just see who's open. And so when you just shift that energy, instead of trying to close everyone, like, how do Ray, I got this brother-in-law who's really negative and he says I'm going to prison and that that we're going to hell as well. And how do I turn him around? You need to turn him around, kick him in the butt and get him out of your face, man. And so stop trying to close everyone and instead look for those who are open. And by the way, if you're just talking opportunity, there are 750,000 Uber drivers just in the United States alone. They make an average of $80 to $360 a month. Okay. And so there's plenty of people out there. And I don't believe they sign up to make six figures because I don't think that's possible. Right. So there's hundreds of thousands just in the United States that would love to make an extra $100 a month. And if you could show them how to do it from home, if you show how using their cell phone and using social media, boy, I think they would like that. And so you got to stop trying to close the wrong people. That's so frustrating. It's so time consuming. It's just exhausting. I mean, it's exhausting to them too. And so stop trying to close everyone and just see who's open. Think about the waiter or waitress. So if the waiter or waitress comes over to you and says, hey, we got this homemade key lime pie and, would you like to have a slice, now that you're done with your, lunch, and you say no, they don't break down and cry. They're not in the back saying, well, come they didn't buy. They're not, breaking down in tears. They're not, what's wrong with me? I guess I wasn't meant to be a waiter or waitress. No, they just ask you, do you want the key lime pie? Do you not want the key lime pie? That's all they're asking you. And they don't truly care what your answer is. That's how you got to be. And it's a shame. It's a shame that waiters and waitresses are more postured than most network marketers, but they are. They are all day long. You give me the posture of a waiter or waitress all day long over most network marketers. Most network marketers are so wound up if you don't take the option and beat themselves up. And I ask people like, hey, how hard you working on the business? And the truth is, more people are beating themselves up more than they're working on their business. And if you're someone that you like to beat yourself up, just schedule it. Instead of spending 3 hours a day beating yourself up on all the things you didn't do and feeling guilty and, what's wrong with me, just schedule it 2:15 to 2:30 every day. That's your time. Have at it. Beat yourself up, use a spatula or something. And then it's done, right? You get bada bing. And you'll save hours if you just schedule the beat up time. Now, obviously, better choice would be no beat up because it's not helping you. It's a colossal waste of time. Instead, be like that waiter, be like that waitress. And so I want you to really get this. And if people get this message right here, this can radically transform how you show up in the world. I want to help others. And I believe every single person on here actually wants to help others. I want to help others. The only way to help others is to offer them a way to get help. And that could be your product. That could be your service. That could be your opportunity. That could be your team, your leadership. That could be, a training, right? Not everyone will join, but no one will join that doesn't get asked. And anyone I don't ask cannot be helped. So anyone that you do not ask and see if they're open, you are not serving. You cannot possibly help them. And so you got to understand that. See, so many people, they look at, well, I don't want to be greedy, or I don't want it all. It's not all about you. If you believe in your product, service, or opportunity, then why wouldn't you ask? Why wouldn't you at least ask? Now, that doesn't mean push. That doesn't mean be pushy. That doesn't mean close them or hard close them or anything like that. But at least ask them. My goodness. And so fear, on your deathbed, you won't remember those who rejected you, but you will remember the lives you've helped change. I keep a file of the different, letters and things that we get from people that have changed their lives, from people that have, completely turned their lives around. And we're very grateful that they took the time to write us a letter. I went through a period of time, I won't get into it right now, but, from my childhood, I didn't talk to my dad for 13 years. And I share my story of how I reconnected with my dad. Guys, I have letter after letter after letter of people that have written me emails, that have sent me Facebook messages of how they reconnected with someone. And I even have two, believe it or not, I have two messages from people that reconnected with their family member after not being, connected to them for a long time. And after they connected, that person passed away. So you understand that them hearing me share my story was literally the perfect time for them, because had they heard it just a little bit later, and one of them was like 3 days later, had they heard my story 3 days later, tried to reconnect, couldn't have. And so, you will remember the lives you help change, but I just want you to understand, you can't help anybody unless you ask them if they're open. And so how will you show up the rest of your life? Are you going to show up powerfully? Are you going to step forward and be bold? Are you going to feel the fear and do it anyway? Because if you are, then you're in the right place.